Welcome back to the Gold IRA Blueprint podcast. We're diving deep today into something that's, especially relevant for anyone looking to add some extra security to their retirement, gold IRAs.
Yes.
We've got a ton of great research here, and we're going to dig into some really fascinating insights, especially about how
Yeah.
something called foreign central banks can actually directly impact your golden nest egg.
Right.
You might be surprised at what we uncover.
It's pretty interesting.
But before we jump in, if you are looking for some help with navigating the world of gold IRAs and finding the right company for you,
Absolutely.
we got you covered.
Yeah.
Head to goldirablueprint.com/exclusive for a free checklist that breaks down all the key things to consider when.
That checklist can be super helpful. It's tailored specifically for American retirees like yourself and
About to grow.
backed with valuable tips.
Okay, let's get started. Could you give us a quick rundown on what a gold IRA actually is?
Sure. So a gold IRA is basically a retirement account that allows you to invest in physical gold and other precious metals like silver, platinum, and palladium.
Okay.
It's different from a traditional IRA that typically holds stocks and bonds.
Right.
With a gold IRA, you're holding actual tangible assets.
So instead of just numbers on a screen, you're holding something real, something you can actually touch.
Yeah.
That's got to feel pretty good, especially when the market gets shaky.
Exactly. That's a big part of the appeal for a lot of people, especially retirees.
Right.
It's about diversification. You see, traditional IRAs often consist of assets that can be quite volatile,
Yeah.
subject to market swings and economic downturns.
Uh-huh.
Gold, on the other hand, has historically held its value well, especially during times of uncertainty.
So it's like a safety net for your retirement savings.
You could definitely see it that way. It
Yeah.
adds a layer of protection against economic sources that are beyond your control.
Right.
And the beauty of it is that a gold IRA offers several key benefits.
Okay.
One of the biggest is that it acts as a hedge against inflation.
Now, inflation is a big concern these days. How does gold help protect against that?
Well, as the value of paper money decreases over time due to inflation, gold tends to retain its purchasing power because it's a finite resource.
Okay.
It's a way to safeguard your savings from being eroded by forces beyond your control.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it this way. A loaf of bread might cost $2 today, but with inflation, it could easily cost $5 in a few years.
Wow.
If you had invested that same $2 in gold, its value would likely have increased as well, allowing you to still afford that bread even with inflation.
That makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
So with the gold IRA, you're not just looking at potential growth, but also at preserving the value of your hard-earned savings.
Precisely. And it can also offer a sense of security, especially when economic conditions are uncertain.
Right.
Unlike stocks that can plummet during market crashes,
Oh, yeah.
gold is a tangible asset that isn't as susceptible to those dramatic fluctuations.
So you're essentially swapping out the uncertainty of the stock market for the stability of gold.
In a way, yes. Of course, like any investment, gold can fluctuate in value.
Sure.
But historically, it's been much more stable than the stock market, especially during times of economic stress.
Uh-huh.
And let's not forget about the tax advantages.
Taxes, everyone's favorite topic. What are the tax benefits of a gold IRA?
Similar to traditional IRAs, gold IRAs offer tax-deferred growth.
Okay.
This means you won't be taxed on any gains from your gold investments until you withdraw the funds during retirement.
Gotcha.
It's a way to potentially reduce your tax burden and maximize your retirement savings.
So you're getting the benefits of tax-deferred growth like a traditional IRA, but with the added stability and security of gold. Now, you mentioned earlier something of foreign central banks. That
Well,
sounds pretty complex. How does that factor into all of this?
It might sound complex, but it's actually fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
Central banks are essentially the financial institutions of countries around the world. They hold reserves of gold as a way to stabilize their economies and protect their currencies from devaluation. Think of it like a giant safety net for a country's financial system.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
But how do those foreign central banks impact why gold IRA?
Well, their decisions to buy or sell gold can create ripples in the global gold market.
Oh, I see.
When a central bank decides to buy a large amount of gold, it increases the global demand, which can drive up the price of gold.
Okay.
And since your gold IRA is holding actual gold, the value of your IRA goes up as well.
It's like a chain reaction, and your gold IRA is part of that chain.
Exactly. It might seem surprising that decisions made in places like China or Europe could directly impact your retirement savings here in the U.S., but it really highlights how interconnected the global financial system is.
So if I hear on the news that, say, the European Central Bank is buying a lot of gold, that could potentially be good news for my gold IRA.
It's definitely a factor to consider.
Yeah.
There are actually 3 key things that influence a central bank's decision to buy or sell gold.
Ooh, this is getting juicy. Tell me more.
The first is currency devaluation.
Okay.
When a country's currency weakens or experiences instability, central banks may buy gold to protect against further devaluation.
Yeah.
This increased demand can drive up the price of gold, which can benefit your gold IRA.
So keeping an eye on global currency markets and looking for signs of weakness could be a good strategy.
It's definitely something to be aware of.
What are the other 2 things that influence central bank decisions?
The second is global economic trends. Central banks closely watch global economic conditions and during times of uncertainty. Think financial crises, geopolitical tensions, or even pandemics.
Right.
They tend to seek safe haven assets like gold. This increased demand can again drive up prices, benefiting your gold IRA.
So even events happening on the other side of the world can influence your retirement savings. It sounds like there's a lot to keep track of.
There is, but don't let it overwhelm you. Remember, you can always refer back to the checklist at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive for a helpful breakdown of these factors.
That's great advice. And the third factor?
Interest rates.
Oh.
When interest rates are low or even negative, holding assets like bonds becomes less attractive.
Interesting.
This can make gold, which doesn't rely on interest payments, a more desirable option for central banks. And again, that increased demand can boost gold prices, potentially benefiting your bond IRA.
So it's like a puzzle, but once you understand the pieces, it starts to make sense.
Exactly. Understanding these factors can help you anticipate potential shifts in the gold market and make more informed decisions about your gold IRA investments.
This has been incredibly insightful. We've learned a lot about gold IRAs and how they can provide stability, security, and even tax advantages for your retirement. But are there any common misconceptions or myths about gold IRAs that we should be aware of?
Absolutely. One of the biggest myths is that gold IRAs are risk-free.
Okay.
While gold is often seen as a safe haven asset,
Right.
it's important to remember that it is still subject to market fluctuations.
Sure.
The price of gold can go up and down based on various factors, including the ones we just discussed.
So while gold can offer some stability, it's not a guaranteed path to riches.
Exactly. And another misconception is that you can store the physical gold from your IRA at home.
Wait, so I can't just stash a few gold bars under my mattress?
Unfortunately not. The IRS requires that the gold in your IRA be stored in an approved secure depository.
So it's not like you can just go and withdraw a gold bar whenever you feel like it. There's a process involved.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that leads us to another important point.
Okay.
Not all gold IRA providers are created equal.
Oh, right.
Some might charge high fees that can eat into your returns,
Yeah.
while others might not offer a diverse selection of high-quality gold products.
Gotcha.
It's crucial to do your research, compare different providers, and focus on those with a strong reputation, transparent fees, and excellent customer support.
That's a great reminder. We'll dive deeper into choosing the right gold IRA provider in our next segment.
Sounds good.
But for now, let's take a quick break. Don't forget, you can download that free checklist we mentioned earlier at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. It's packed with tips to help you make informed decisions about your gold IRA. We'll be back in a flash with more insights on gold IRAs and how they can help secure your financial future.
Looking forward to it. Choosing the right provider is definitely a crucial step in setting up your gold IRA.
So let's jump right into that. What are some key things people should look for when choosing a gold IRA provider? It's got to be more than just a fancy website, right?
Absolutely. First and foremost, you want to look at their reputation.
Yeah.
Check for a provider with a strong track record, positive customer reviews, and accreditation from reputable organizations like the Better Business Bureau.
Okay.
Think of it as checking their references before you trust them with your hard-earned savings.
Makes sense. Reputation is everything, especially when you're talking about your financial future. What else should people keep in mind?
Fees are a big one.
Yeah.
You want to compare the fee structures of different providers.
Right.
Watch out for high administrative or storage charges that can really eat into your returns over time. Those fees add up and take a bite out of your investment gains.
So shop around and don't be afraid to ask questions about their fees.
Hmm.
What about the gold itself? Is all gold created equal?
That's a great question. The provider should offer a variety of high-quality gold products, including bullion and coins that meet IRS standards.
Okay.
You want to make sure you're investing in gold that is recognized and accepted within the gold IRA framework.
It's like checking for a seal of approval, right? Making sure you're getting the real deal.
Exactly. And last but not least, don't underestimate the importance of customer support.
Right.
Choosing a provider with a responsive and knowledgeable team can make a world of difference, especially if you're new to this type of investment. You want a team that can answer your questions clearly and help you navigate the ins and outs of gold IRAs.
It's all about feeling confident and supported throughout the process.
Yeah.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to touch on something that really caught my eye in your research.
Mhm.
There were a couple of examples of how gold IRAs have actually benefited retirees in real-life situations. Could you share some of those stories with our listeners?
Absolutely. These stories really showcase the power of gold as a safety net.
Okay.
One that comes to mind is about a woman named Sarah.
Okay.
She was in her mid-60s and had most of her savings in traditional investments like stocks and bonds.
Mm-hmm.
But with inflation rising and the market getting shaky,
Right.
she decided to diversify her portfolio by adding a gold IRA.
Okay.
Over the next 5 years, her gold IRA held strong even as inflation eroded the value of her other investments.
Interesting.
It gave her peace of mind knowing that a portion of her savings was protected.
It's a powerful testament to how gold IRAs can provide that stability and security,
Okay.
especially during uncertain times. Do you have another example?
I do. There was a couple, Tom and Linda, who were facing some tough financial times.
Okay.
A combination of stock market downturns and the impact of the pandemic had really hit their savings hard. They were looking for a safer haven for a portion of their money
Yeah.
and decided to invest in a gold IRA.
Okay.
As luck would have it, their timing was excellent.
Wow.
The value of their gold holdings actually increased during that period of economic turmoil, giving them some much-needed financial relief.
Those stories really hit home. It's not just about abstract concepts or numbers on a screen. It's about real people's lives and how gold IRAs can provide tangible benefits.
Exactly. It's about having a plan in place that can help you weather those financial storms, especially as you enter retirement, and rely on your savings to support your lifestyle.
Speaking of plans,
Mhm.
remember that free checklist we've mentioned a couple of times?
Mm-hmm.
It's available at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive.
Right.
It covers everything we've talked about today, from choosing the right provider to understanding the benefits of a gold IRA.
It's a fantastic resource that can empower you to make informed decisions about your retirement savings.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what's the key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
I'd say the biggest takeaway is that knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your finances. The more you understand about gold IRAs and the factors that influence gold prices, the better equipped you'll be to make smart choices for your future.
And those choices can have a real impact on your financial security and peace of mind.
Absolutely. It's about taking control of your financial destiny and not just leaving it to chance.
It sounds like gold IRAs are definitely worth considering, especially for those nearing retirement or looking for ways to diversify their portfolio and add some extra protection.
I would agree. It's about having a plan in place, understanding the options available, and making choices that align with your individual financial goals and risk tolerance.
You know, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
From the nuts and bolts of what a gold IRA is, to those fascinating insights about how foreign central banks can impact your savings. It's like we've peeled back the curtain on the world of gold and its role in retirement planning.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
Yeah, we've explored the benefits of gold IRAs, debunked some common myths, and even shared real-life examples of how gold IRAs have helped retirees navigate challenging economic times.
I think the thing that struck me the most is how seemingly distant events, like a currency devaluation in another country or a shift in global interest rates, can have a direct impact on your personal retirement savings here in the U.S.
Yeah,
It really highlights how interconnected the global financial system is.
it does, and it underscores the importance of staying informed, understanding these connections, and making investment decisions with a global perspective.
And that's exactly what we've aimed to do with this deep dive.
Absolutely.
Empower you with the knowledge and insights to explore gold IRAs as a potential option for securing your financial future.
Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your finances. The more you understand, the better equipped you'll be to make smart choices that can help you achieve your retirement goals and enjoy a comfortable and secure future.
So what's the one piece of advice you would leave our listeners with today?
If you're intrigued by gold IRAs and want to learn more, take that first step and do your research.
Okay.
Explore the resources available, like the checklist we've mentioned several times at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. It's a great starting point and can provide valuable guidance as you navigate the world of gold IRAs.
That checklist is packed with tips on choosing the right provider, understanding fees, and ensuring you're investing in high-quality gold products that meet IRS standards. It's like having a roadmap to guide you through the process.
It is indeed. And remember, you don't have to go it alone. There are knowledgeable professionals who can answer your questions and provide support along the way.
So the next time you hear news about central banks making moves in the gold market,
Right.
remember how those actions might ripple through to your own retirement portfolio? It's all connected, and with the right knowledge, you can make those connections work in your favor.
It's a fascinating world out there, and the more you understand how it works, the better prepared you'll be to navigate it successfully.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into gold IRAs. We hope you found it informative, insightful, and empowering. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep building a brighter financial future.